This is one of my favorite beats I've made so far. And I stole almost everything about it. Oh man, that melody is totally from my... What's up, I'm Tarroza, and in this video, I'm gonna walk you through how I produced my latest song called Made of Stone and how stealing can help you produce better music. So it all started in the 90s. Okay, not really, but if you're a 90s kid like me, do you remember this cartoon? So not only was Gargoyles an amazing show, but it had one of the most epic theme songs ever.
It was a world of fear.
Man, this
It was
is
the age of gargoyles.
this is taking me back.
Stone by day.
What an epic
Warriors by
opening
night.
theme song for a cartoon.
We were
I
betrayed
mean,
by
come
the
on.
humans we had sworn to protect.
Kids these days don't know anything about this. And they don't even know anything about commercials.
We are
Watching everything on
defenders of the
Netflix.
light. We are gargoyles.
Come on now, they don't make them like they used to. Anyways, I was listening to the theme song and I thought, I'm gonna make a hip-hop version out of this. So I sat down at the studio, opened up Ableton all excited, got to work and made this. I know it's really rough and it's just an 8-bar loop, but I already wasn't feeling it. And I feel like if you're gonna cover something, it has to be at least equal to the original, if not better, or else what are we even doing here? So instead of a cover, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna make an original instead. Now I really liked the chord progression from the Gargoyles theme song, so I stole them. And yeah, you can't really steal a chord progression, but more on that later. Alright, so this is a little embarrassing, but when I first started producing music, I thought drums and percussion were all done manually, whether it's, finger drumming on drum pads or with an actual drum set. I didn't know that drum loops were a thing. Hey man, I grew up playing in a church band, so I didn't know about drum loops. I also thought that using drum loops, or any loops for that matter, was cheating. Like,
You don't know how to play an instrument? Frickin' loser.
I will admit though that sometimes when I'm producing a track, I will lay down a temporary drum loop just to quickly hear what my chords sound like with some percussion on it, but then I'll swap that loop out with my own drums. Now one thing I would do is convert the drum loop to MIDI, so at least I'm using my own samples and it's not just the drum loop straight. So let me show you quickly how to convert a drum loop to MIDI using Ableton, the best DAW ever. I'm just kidding, all the DAWs are good. I've never even used FL Studio, so maybe it's better than Ableton. Probably not, but whatever. All right, so I got my drum loop here. This is what it sounds like. Now, all you need to do is right-click and convert drums to new MIDI track, and that's it. Now, it defaults to using this drum rack, which sounds like Bum Bum, but you can replace all the samples here to whatever you want. Alright, real quick, if you're enjoying this video so far, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. I'm out here trying to help people on their creative journey, and you hitting that little tiny subscribe button helps me on mine. That's all I got. Back to the video. So while I was producing this track, I did throw on a temporary drum loop with every intention of swapping it out like I normally do, because all the songs that I've released so far, I've never used a drum loop. Except this one. The drum loop just sounded right. It just felt right. When you get that right sample, when you get that right sound, why change it? But yeah, working on this track, I stopped being so close-minded on using loops. I got the drum loop from King Chino Beats, so shout out to him. And yeah, aside from some little tweaks and, playing around with it a little bit, what you hear is pretty much the drum loop straight. So yeah, it's not exactly stealing, but if you think the way that I used to, that using drum loops is cheating or stealing, then sure, I stole it. Plus, it fits the narrative of this video better. every good track needs a really good melody. So to find the melody, I usually start by playing around with the notes in the scale. So I have pretty decent pitch memory, so that means if I hear a melody that's similar to another song that I'm really familiar with, I could usually tell right away. I could also remember the key or pitch of a song fairly well. These are pretty lame superpowers, but whatever. So anyways, when I played those 3 notes in that exact way, my mind immediately remembered one of the greatest hip-hop tracks in history. So when I realized my melody was pretty much Shook One's, I thought, man, I should change this up. But then I thought, screw it. Now, both my track and Shook One's are in the exact same key, B flat minor, but my melody isn't, exactly the same, and I didn't knowingly do it. It was kind of like a happy accident.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Besides, the Mobb Deep track used a bunch of samples, so Havoc, the producer, who's one of the best in hip-hop history, he stole from all those other songs. And stole is not the right word, all right? Sample flipping is an art. If you do it wrong, you're a lazy artist. But if you do it right, you're a freaking genius. And if you don't know, Shook One's is one of the greatest sample flips in history. Check out this video. Whew. Now, if that ain't art, I don't even know. So what do you think? Did I steal this track? Maybe I flew a little bit close to the sun with the melody. I feel like I changed it up enough, and I didn't do any of that on purpose. It just sort of happened. And as for the chord progression, like I said earlier, you can't steal a chord progression. Do you know how many songs use the exact same chord progression? Actually, Ed Sheeran was sued recently for copyright infringement. Now, he went on the Howard Stern radio show and he was telling a story of how he went in front of the jury, brought out his guitar, and played this.
What did you play for that jury? If I was the jury, what did you say to them?
So it was, so my one is, when your legs don't work like they used to before. And then there's, have I told you lately that I loved you? And then, people get ready, there's a train coming. No one's saying that songs shouldn't be copyrighted, but you just can't copyright a chord sequence. You just can't.
Apparently that essentially won him the case, so on behalf of all musicians, thanks Ed Sheeran. So for any form of art, I think that stealing is a great way to start. If you like the chord progression of another song, use it. If you like the melody, take it. I see them as sort of ingredients of a recipe. No one owns the copyright of a potato. But yeah, it's that exact combination and tweaking and adding your own flavor into it that makes it unique. Anyway, steal all you want, just be good enough to make it your own. So yeah, check out my track Made of Stone. Let me know what you think. It's out on all streaming platforms. I got the links below for you. And if you want to see how I produce another track, check out this video over here. That one.